What up? It's your boy, Luke for Prez, back in the mix yet again with another video for you guys. Hope everybody is doing fantastic. I know I am. The Lakers won the championship.
Yes!
The first good thing to happen this entire year. So, all is well. That ends well. You know what I'm saying? Today, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I realized that I've been doing this beat thing for quite a while now. Over 3 years since I started this journey. And it made me kind of want to take a second to take a step back and look back at some of my previous work and just kind of take stock of how I've improved, if I have at all. So what I'm going to be doing today is pulling up 3 beats that I've made 3 years apart and just basically reacting to those and just seeing what we can find, going deep into the archives here. So I have pulled up a beat from April 2nd, 2017. Damn, seems like a decade ago, doesn't it, at this point, with all we've been through in 2020. So yeah, I'm just gonna play these and just react a little bit, give you my thoughts on them, and we'll see what we uncover here. So without further ado, here goes the first one. That's enough of that. Oh man, where do I begin with this? So clearly, this was at the very, very beginning stages of my journey, where I'm just trying to figure things out. Everything that I used in this beat was just a stock sound built into Logic itself. I don't think I had discovered drum kits or VSTs of any kind at this point. So everything sounds real stock, definitely not of professional quality, and then just the lack of detailed arrangement also sticks out to me. But you know, this is obviously like an important part of the journey. You're not gonna be Mozart the first time you sit down at a piano. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta put the work in. And I think there were some little diamonds in the rough here in terms of what I was doing, like the piano melody. While it is very basic, like, that's actually kind of a popular style, like something that rappers like NLE Choppa have kind of popularized lately. So I think I was on the right track with the stock piano melody there a little bit. Obviously, I would never use that 808. That's just something built into Logic, and none of these drum elements I would ever use. You know, pretty terrible, obviously, but not quite as horrible as maybe I was expecting hearing this, for the first time in 3 years. So anyways, let's pull up the next one here. All right, here we have one from almost exactly a year later, April 6th, 2018. We got a lot going on here. There's a lot of perks. We got a lot of perks, y'all. Let's see what this is sounding like. So basically, this one I was going for that Lil Yachty kind of childlike type vibe, and I think it was a lot more Barney than Lil Yachty at the end of the day. I was just trying to figure out like how to create a bounce, and thus I included like 85 different rim shots. I realize now, obviously, that really less is more when it comes to rap beats. You really want to leave a lot of room for the artist, and you can create a nice bounce with just a handful of instruments. You really don't need to throw in all of these different perks. And then obviously those chords that I use for the main melody is just, God, it's just a little cringy. I didn't end up posting this one. I know this was made right around the time I started actually posting my beats online. But this one did not make the cut, and I stand by that decision to this day. The mixing on the drums is a mess, obviously. I think the 808 might even be out of tune. It just sounds off to me. So yeah, definitely not my finest hour here, but again, it's part of the process, and I definitely can see where my head was at when making this and what I was trying to do and what I was trying to experiment with. You know, I think at the time I really admired the bounce and the grooves that a lot of Yachty's production kind of had, and I was just trying to emulate that as best I could given my limited experience and skill set at the time. So it is what it is. Good practice round, but I'm glad I did not end up posting this one anywhere. Lord. Moving on. All right, here we are, April 2nd, 2019. Let's see how far I had come by this point. Yeah, no, I'm all about this one. This is called Illustrious. It's on my website to this day, and it still gets least sales here and there. So yeah, absolutely. I feel like the jump from 2018 to 2019 was a lot bigger than from 2017 to 2018. I still had like a long way to go, and I still do to this day, obviously. But this is, you know, well over a year ago that I made this, and I stand by it to this day. Still a lot of percussion elements going on here, but I feel like I used them a little bit more effectively than I did in the previous one, and it really kind of sets the mood. And the interesting thing is, like, I was going for like a Middle Eastern vibe. I think when I originally posted this, there was like a pyramid or something in the cover art that I used. It's just interesting that at this point I was finally able to, you know, actually like bring my ideas to life in terms of what style I wanted to approach a beat with. That was something that I struggled with, like getting the ideas from my head actually into Logic and into a beat. And it seems as though at this point I was able to kind of start doing that because it was definitely a calculated effort on my part to make this kind of like a Egyptian, exotic, like Middle Eastern sounding type vibe. And I think I accomplished that pretty well. I think the arrangement on this is pretty good. It's actually one of the slower beats that I've ever released. So it's cool to see that at this point I was starting to experiment, get a little bit outside of my comfort zone. And I really like the sound selection that I used. Interestingly enough, like all of this is still, like this is Alchemy, which is a synth that is native to Logic. Massive. Okay, so like for a couple of these, just for, maybe like one thing I used Massive, but basically everything else from a melody standpoint is all just stock stuff from Logic. So definitely is, you know, I think this is a good lesson. Like, definitely don't overlook the instruments that are native to your DAW, because there might be some gems in there that you can use. And I think a lot of producers kind of turn their noses up at stock stuff. And so that maybe will give you an opportunity to use some instruments that other producers might be overlooking. Because again, there's still great stuff just native to Logic at least, and it's probably the same for most of the DAWs out there. So yeah, this, all right, I definitely was coming into my own a little bit by this point. So yeah, this one definitely not as cringy as I expected. I think I really turned a corner somewhere last year in 2019. So that's basically like the 3-year progression. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up one from 2020 as well. I know I said I was gonna do 3 years, but let's, I guess we're technically in the 4th year then. I suck at math, right? But 2017, 2018, 2019, and now 2020. So, good Lord, a lot of time invested here, y'all. But yeah, so let me see if I can find something from April of this year and see if there's even more improvements that are noticeable. All right. So we have one from exactly a year later, April 2nd, 2020. And let's see what we have here. This is looking mighty simple.
The purpose of our 2 previous encounters is now very clear to me. I do not intend to be distracted by another. Good night, Mr. Bond.
Do you expect me to talk?
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
All right, Mr. President.
This was right when I first got Arcade, and so that's where that melody comes from. It's some preset in Arcade that I was able to kind of piece together called Major Waves. Super fire. If you guys aren't familiar with Arcade, like definitely get familiar, because it's an incredible resource for melody building and accenting certain things that you already have going on. I use it relatively frequently, and it's definitely worth the $10 a month that it costs. The melody that I created with the help of Arcade really had such a cool vintage sound that it just like evoked like old school James Bond movies for me, and that's why I included that Goldfinger intro that you heard. This one's obviously like a really simple one, and definitely is like sort of a combination of both trap elements and boom bap, which is something that I don't normally do. I definitely started with the melody on this one, and I just felt that the melody was better suited for maybe some old school style drums. But of course, because I'm obsessed with, the trap drums, I had to throw some of those elements in there. I actually didn't use an 808. I used an actual bass instrument that's native to Logic for the bass line that you can see here, and then added just like a real basic like 2-step hi-hat pattern with like a tiny bit of variation in there, and then like a cool like boom bap style drum loop I found on Splice, which is another amazing resource for everything: melodies, drum patterns. I use it more for melodies. I don't normally use it for my drums at all, other than like one shots or sample packs. Like Murder Beats recently put out an amazing like drum kit essentially via Splice. I use a lot of those, but I just found this one and I thought it was absolutely perfect for the melody from Arcade, so I just kind of incorporated that. I definitely pictured someone like Freddie Gibbs getting on this one. This is another beat that still sells to this day in my beat store every once in a while. Not like one of the top sellers, but I'll see it pop up here and there. And just kept it real simple with this one. And yeah, again, stand by it. So it seems like definitely 2019 and into 2020, I've been able to kind of step my game up, and it's different. This beat is different than a lot of the other ones in terms of like how it sounds and just the overall vibe. So it's cool to see me just kind of stepping out from like the original trap roots that I really kind of dove in with, and try different things. And that's something that I'm continuing to try to push myself to do more and more even today. Just experiment with other genres or other subgenres within rap and beyond. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how these turned out. Definitely not quite as cringy on the earlier ones as I was expecting. So, you know, it is what it is. I hope that this just serves as a lesson for everybody out there, not to give up, just to keep pushing. And don't worry if your early stuff doesn't sound how you want it to sound. My stuff today doesn't sound exactly how I want it to sound. Like, I'm still every day trying to get better at mixing, better at arrangement, better at melody creation, sample manipulation, everything. I still feel like I'm very, very, very much a work in progress and still have a ton to learn. And I'm excited about doing this video in another couple of years to see, you know, hopefully even more progress. That's basically all I got. I hope you found this entertaining. Taking this trip down memory lane with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I got a ton more content on the way. If you are interested in marketing for music producers or more videos like this, this is a good channel to stick around and check out. So I hope y'all do that. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Your boy is out. That's it. That's all I got. Peace.